Got your pills right here. Want some pills, you pillhead loony? Welcome to Legends of Gotham, where we talk about Fox's hit series, Gotham, set in the world of Batman, in fact. How you doing, Anne-Marie?
I'm good. How are you, crazy pill loony?
Well, who doesn't like some crazy pills every now and again, right?
I don't know.
But yeah, we're here for our first official, talking about a new episode of Gotham episode, which is so weird. We're on episode 7. So
we are on episode 7.
If you're just joining us, we do have a big archive already for you to go through.
Big.
7, 8
6.
8 if you count our 0 episode, which was about 2 minutes.
7 if you count the 0 episode.
Not counting
7.
this one, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Math is hard.
Regardless, depending on how you want to phrase it.
English is hard.
This is our first episode with having an episode to review.
Having something to properly review.
Exactly, which is really fun. And we're also doing video.
Hi.
Hello, video people.
Video people.
Hopefully we can maybe see you in the chat if we happen to see you, or you can tweet at Legends of Gotham to talk to us during the show. Okay, let's see here. Any opening business before we start? You know what? Actually, I think I will mention before we start, since we're a new podcast and a lot of people are probably coming in for the first time after having seen the first episode of Gotham, we thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and put right up here at the top. You know, after you're done listening to the podcast, if you like it, if you don't like it,
yes, definitely.
Just go to iTunes and leave an honest review.
Please review for us.
Good, bad, whatever.
Please. Preferably good, please.
Yeah, and we always read any reviews we get for our podcast. So if you,
as long as they're appropriate.
Yeah, as long as they're there's language inappropriate in this podcast, I guess.
Yes, that's one of my notes. In fact, ass equals drinking game.
Ass.
Ass.
That's
the amount of times that ass was said in this episode.
So I think we've decided that ass is an okay word.
Ass is perfectly acceptable because Jada made it okay.
Jada made it okay. She definitely did. But we'll read your review on the show, and we'd really love to see it on there. I'm trying to think of something they could throw into the review to make it fun. How about... do you have an idea?
No.
Okay. How about at the end of your review, just a single word, don't give it any context or anything, but put what you think Harvey Bullock has in the flask.
Ooh, what is his drink of choice?
Yeah, is it whiskey? Is it vodka? Is it Captain Morgan's? Is it Mike's Hard Lemonade in the flask, which would be kind of gross after a while, dragging around his jacket. But yeah, go leave us a review on iTunes. You can also leave it on Stitcher, any place the podcast is. And we would love you forever. Seriously.
We would love you. I would blow you kisses in the camera.
Hey, don't give it out for free. Don't give it out. I'm trying to cover you.
It was a sample.
Okay, well, let's get started here. We're still not sure if this is going to be the final format, but we like to have an episode summary right up at the top. And for our other podcast, Greetings from Storybrooke, we rhyme, which is very appropriate because it's fairy tales and everything.
Yes.
But this one, we're going to try and do a little differently. You want to go ahead and hit it up, Anne-Marie?
I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay.
How's that? Okay. A rich couple gunned down in crime alley. Their kid takes it personal. A green detective named Jim takes to the street with his cynical companion. Catgirl hangs out all over town. No, you can't go meowing.
I'm doing sound effects. Go ahead.
Okay. A murder's solved, then unsolved, then solved again. Let's hope Frankie the Butcher made it out alive in this week's episode. Pilot.
Such a creative
so used
name.
to that not rapid.
There were no pilots in this episode at all.
There were no pilots.
That's my first point, actually.
Point number 1. There were no pilots in the pilot.
Hey, how do I do this? It's been since spring since we did this. I guess we'll start off.
We just hop into the episode.
Well, I think we start off. Don't I ask you just
general
impressions? What did you think of the episode?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
How many thumbs up?
I mean, I only have 2, but I'll give it 2.
Okay, cool.
How about you?
The full 2? Yeah, I'd definitely give it the full 2 too.
So I know we're really just getting into this whole camera thing, so it's a little awkward.
Yeah, we keep audio listeners. We keep turning to the camera like, "Hi, camera, how's it going?" It is weird, but hopefully by the time we get done with the half season, by the holidays, we'll be used to it. I really love the episode. It felt, I'll say, it felt like a live action prequel to Batman the Animated Series for me.
Okay.
Like, it felt very much in that world. And I mean, there's a lot of characters who have crossed over and, became big deals in the Batman universe because of the animated series that are now big characters in the show. But it was just so cool to see, and it's just like so stylized and colorful, and I wasn't
colorful and dark all at the same time.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be as colorful as it is for sure.
I expected a little more gloom and doom.
Yeah, and I really just like how they've kind of twisted the script a little bit to where good's bad, bad's good, and Gordon's the one caught in
Gordon's head's
between
going
it all.
blue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But speaking of Gordon, my first point here is I really love the team up of Harvey Bullock and Jim Gordon. Like, they're really kind of the dynamic new duo for the modern age. There were just so many sort of parallels, just kind of in their dynamic and everything, and just like the death traps, like the Batman and Robin always used to get into when they were hanging in the slaughterhouse and everything. That was really neat. But then again, by the same token, being for the modern age, kind of like a postmodern dynamic duo, there was no easy out. And in fact, by going in there to try and save Jim, Harvey almost got both of them killed.
Yeah, really.
Which I thought was really cool.
He threatened me, string him up.
And I really did like, we had speculated a bit on this before the episode, but I really did like Frankie the Butcher. That's his name. Frankie. I made very special a very special point to write that down in my notes.
Okay. Why?
Because we had talked about it in a previous podcast. Like, I wonder who that butcher is.
Oh.
So it was Frankie the Butcher, and I think he survived because he had
I don't. It seemed like nobody survived because everybody's a good shot, which is actually my next point.
Well, he had a chainmail apron on.
But they hit him in the shoulder, and apparently in Gotham, if you get hit in the shoulder with one bullet, you're dead instantly.
You die?
Instantly.
Allergic to bullets.
No, because there is no allergic reaction. It's like...
just a...
Like, we'll just sort of jump into mine a little bit.
That's a little bit with... Well, I was just going to say, it just reminded me a little bit with, like, Batman comics, too. Like, one of the big jokes is if Batman knocked all the guys out he does on the page, there would be, like... Everyone would be brain dead in Gotham City, like every criminal, because they like to knock someone out is like can seriously screw them up even if you know what you're doing.
Right.
And so he's like basically giving brain damage to every criminal in Gotham City. But what was your point?
I was just gonna say everybody who dies from literally one shot somewhere that doesn't look like it should kill them that quickly.
Yeah.
Like seriously, the big old Pepper got shot in the shoulder. And didn't get back up.
Daddy Pepper.
Personally, when they were like, "Oh, and we killed a guy," I'm like, "You killed him? He shouldn't have died."
Maybe it has something to do with it being like before the watershed, like 8 p.m. on network TV. Maybe they're only allowed to show.
But it is at 8 p.m.
Yeah, well, that's before the watershed because I think the watershed hour is either 9 or. Oh, that's just when.
No hablo TV.
No, that's the time period that's considered safe for families.
Oh, yeah.
So it might have something to do with that. And I noticed there really wasn't a ton of blood even when there was grievous injury.
Yes, like when we slit the poor fisherman's throat.
Yes.
Rest in peace, fisherman.
Rip fisherman.
Rip fisherman.
But it just...
Sorry, back to your
Harvey.
Oh, no,
it's cool. Just to wrap up, Harvey Bullock in general, really, really loved him. He played it very, very well, minus actually the first scene in the police station I didn't like too much.
The police station? Because I thought you said it was the diner.
No, it was the police station.
Oh, the other thing was the diner.
Yeah. But the police station, I didn't like him too much because it kind of felt like he was still trying to like find the character a little bit.
No, probably it is the first episode.
And he seemed a little presentational with his performance, where he didn't in the rest of the episode, kind of like indicating what he was trying to do, like with the lackadaisical line and everything, which it isn't necessarily a bad thing, but he kind of became more naturalistic in his performance later on in the episode. Okay. Fish Mooney is another good example of a character in this show that's kind of very presentational,
she's extremely
and it works. It works really well, especially with like the stage behind her all the time. I really love that.
Yeah.
But also, I just wanted to point out that he did a really good job playing like the drunk, like after he took the sip from the flask, and he's like kind of leaning in like this to Gordon and everything. Yeah. I really loved it. I thought it was really, really.
How do you know there wasn't already something in the flask?
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
The plot thickens.
Interesting. So we sort of already talked about my whole thing.
Yeah,
that
you want to skip to your D and then we'll come back to my C or something?
Oh, good grief. No, let's just go back into C. Stay in order. I'll get confused.
Oh, into C?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, well, I titled it here, The Secret World of Bruce Wayne. I was thinking Secret World of Alex Mack, for people who might be familiar.
Let's stick so.
No, but, yeah, I know, right? So old. Old Nickelodeon show. If you're not familiar, if it was canceled before you were born, it was an old show on Nickelodeon. But I thought it was really interesting. After the initial murder of Thomas and Martha Wayne and everything, you can, any scene with little Bruce in it, you can always feel like this little secret hovering over the entire scene, like especially between him and Alfred, like the funeral. When Jim shows up at the mansion and everything, you can definitely feel the starts of the Batman project kind of bubbling.
Oh, they're already
over top of those scenes. Like, in fact, one thing I kind of thought people were complaining, like, why does Alfred have to be so mean to young Bruce and yell at him like that to get him off the roof? I interpreted that as hilarious. Him trying to like cover, like trying to be like, oh, wait a second, there's a little boy up on the roof and this cop's here. He's going to think something weird's going on. I better way overplay my anger at him being up on top of that roof.
See, I didn't get that.
See, that's kind of the role Alfred always fills, is kind of like trying to help cover for Bruce so he can do his Batman stuff.
Right.
And so I mean, tweet us out there if you're listening to us live at Legends of Gotham. That was my interpretation. Was that it was Alfred trying to help cover for Bruce.
Interesting.
And I would have...
Yeah, I didn't really get that.
Interesting. Yeah, and like I said, I saw some people saying that they thought it was just Alfred being mean, but regardless, it was really funny when he did it.
Yes, it was very funny.
Some people compared him to a soccer hooligan.
Soccer hooligan?
Yeah, kind of like, oh, hey boy, what are you doing? I can't really do a soccer
impression
at all.
Please don't do it again. I just took it as Alfred basically going, he's up on the roof again. Like, I've told him, and I've told him, and I've told like, I thought I really got more frustrated with young Bruce. Young Master Bruce.
Yeah, and I mean, it could really go either way. It's all up to interpretation.
Exactly, it's very early.
Very early days yet. But yeah, it's very much, you can definitely tell that young Bruce already has that, like, but even between the scene where his parents are killed and the funeral scene, the next time you see him, you can tell he has that kind of that mask on now. Like, kind of young Bruce, just that he's kind of protecting himself from the world. Like, he has something going on behind the eyes, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I kind of think all of their interactions, like Bruce and Gordon's, are going to lead up to, last shot of the series. And this is just a long shot prediction.
Long shot.
Last shot of the series, like Batman finally shows up in town or whatever, and Gordon's got enough peeks behind the mask to where it kind of indicates that he knows, like he did in that one Batman the Animated Series episode we watched. I forget what it was the one where Batgirl died, but it was very much implied that Gordon always knew that Bruce was Batman, and I think really we're gonna get a lot of neat little moments in this series where we realize we see how he knew or how he figured it out over time.
I can see that. To completely switch gears, Fish Mooney. Okay, one of my favorite things about her is that she does her own dirty work. She's not afraid to beat the snot out of you with a chair.
Oh, no, not. In fact, I think she kind of took pleasure in it.
A little bit. And then straightened her weave. It was awesome. Like, literally, you could see it move on her head.
So that's what that was. Like, I was like, is she wearing are they indicating she's wearing a wig or something?
Well, yeah, it's a weave, a wig. It's all in the same general vein. Yeah, she was like...
that makes sense now. It didn't click to me then.
Again, male-female thing. Though you did a very good fashion interpretation last time.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see.
You know me and my fashion.
I know you and your fashion. I like that she cleaned the knife before giving it to the penguin to open his vein. I'm like, what, are you worried about an infection? You're telling the kid to cut open his arm.
I thought it was really cool how she had him rub her feet beforehand, like that kind of the ultimate like subservient thing before it was kind of almost reminded me of like a biblical thing, like how like people like there was a lot of like foot washing in the Bible and stuff to show status and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was really neat how they did that.
Yes. Oh, hey, you retweeted me. I was like, I have a notification. Okay, I did think it was a little bit weird that she basically didn't hide any of it from the guy that was auditioning.
Oh yeah, the
that he was just so uncomfortable. He's like, like what is she doing? And
I'm just gonna stand here and look at the corner.
I'm just gonna keep turning away so that it's not me next. That's what the poor guy. What?
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, did you have
I had more, but it was completely in a different vein, so continue.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Polite.
Yes, lots of politeness. Yay. I like that she's not as important as she thinks she is. Tell Fish that she wants to kill police. She needs to ask permission. There are rules.
Yeah, and I really think in the long run she's going to end up being sort of the Penguin's pawn too. But I'll touch on that a bit later.
Oh,
I had some thoughts on it. But you speak about the comedian on stage there.
I do, and I don't agree with you.
Okay, but agree with me about what? Because
your point.
He's one of and the creators have said this out front here, that they are going to be presenting multiple people who could be the Joker. Now, what did you?
I don't think this is it.
You don't think he's the Joker?
Nope.
I think he's definitely the person that was supposed to be maybe the Joker in this episode. Well, yeah,
of course he was supposed to be, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think it's too easy and too obvious.
Yeah, especially since anytime, and this is, in the Batman comics, anytime that the Joker's origin is shown, he's usually a failed comedian.
Right.
And it's always implied that it could be total BS too, I guess I'll say. That this was just the story the Joker tells himself about his origin or that sort of thing. But I did think it was I did like that the joke was very dark that he told Fish.
Yeah.
That was totally the Joker's sense of humor, regardless of whether it was him or not.
Right.
But something I was thinking about is maybe we should create a page on the site, and I've already actually sent myself to do this. And it'll probably be called something. Look for it in a couple days. It'll probably be called something like "Look at This Joker," and we'll just break it out by episode, and we'll have a screenshot and a little description of the scene for all the possible candidates, so we can have it all in one place to go and look at when we're on break and we need to put out an episode so people don't think that we've
fallen off the face of the earth.
And then we can just go down and we'll have our show notes already.
Yes.
And I figured, people could also send in if they think someone might be the Joker.
Yes, take a screenshot, please.
Exactly.
We like screenshots. What I was going to say, it sort of comes from one of the articles, because I actually read the articles this week.
Nice.
I know, I'm learning. It points out the women in the back in the red and the black and saying they're Harlequin dancers.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Again, too easy.
Yeah.
It's too easy to make that Harley.
Yeah, I had never connected that, but that's basically like the Arkham Asylum, the video game Harlequin costume.
Yes.
More or less.
Well, yeah.
But
so I think that makes this Joker definitely not the Joker.
Yeah, and plus it's the first episode too, and you wouldn't think they would
throw all their cards.
Yeah.
Or show
all their Joker cards in the first episode. One thing that I did notice though, so I'm thinking that maybe the Joker might already be kind of active behind the scenes in Gotham City, because I saw this on Reddit today. Someone took this screenshot, and if you look here, it's a smile with like a smiley face and graffiti on the building here. That is very much like I believe they had a couple of these smile graphics in some of the promotional materials for the show.
They had something like that, yeah. It was that, and then didn't they have a flag or a sign or something too?
Something along those lines. So I thought that was a nice little interesting little screenshot they put there, and we'll have a link to that in our show notes too. If you weren't watching video, I did put it up.
We did. Right.
We swear we did put it on.
It happened. So the Riddler.
But yes, the Riddler. What did you think of the Riddler?
I love the Riddler. He was perfectly creepy.
Mm-hmm.
What is this and this and this and this? Just tell me. Don't ask.
Answer every question with the question, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I loved it.
No, it was really good, and it was very like again, very presentational. Like he even said Harvey even says the word riddle at some point, but and people were complaining about that. But I mean, this is a network show, 8 p.m. Like you're gonna have aunts and uncles who know the Riddler is the guy in the green suit from the '60s show, and they're not gonna hear Edward Nygma and think, oh, that's the Riddler.
The Riddler, right?
So it needs a little indication. Just like I mean, they did similar things with everybody, like. Catwoman, she gave the cat milk,
right?
And Ivy was with the plant and everything. But no, I really liked the Riddler. I thought I thought he did a really good job with it. I think it'll work best in small doses until he becomes a threat, until he becomes an actual threat, because it just feels like it could wear if he was in a scene longer than like 5 minutes or something, 3 or 4 minutes. Actually, because 5 minutes is even long for TV.
Yeah.
But 3 minutes, 4 minutes until the episode out the Riddler, in which case he can.
So what is that episode, like 4?
Hopefully
something like that. I also thought it was really funny how pissed he got when Gordon got his riddle. Mm-hmm. He was like,
"How dare you be smarter than me?
How dare you actually get the riddle?" Ivy.
What did you think of Ivy Pepper?
Well, since we've decided cursing's okay. Bastard!
Well, a bastard's not a curse word. It's in the Bible.
Yeah. Okay, see, that's not
a lot of Bible popping.
Yeah, stop with the Bible stuff, would you?
I will, I promise. No, but I liked her. Like, it was a little hard to get a read off her, though, in this one.
Well, that's because she's like an 11-year-old girl watering plants saying, please don't talk to my daddy, he's mean. Yeah. And there we go. We've covered all of her lines.
That line was kind of said something to me, though, that she was very like upfront and open and everything, like even though she was kind of shy once they got into the apartment and she was around her parents and stuff. But I mean, if you've ever seen Poison Ivy's outfit, she's not a shy girl.
No, she's not. Pardon me, though, for video, like
you can't even hide your yawns.
I can't hide my yawns
because we're on video.
Sorry, CP, long day.
No, but I liked her.
I saw a lot of people complaining about her name. Mm-hmm. They're one of the articles that we have. Again, I'm just going to keep referring to them because they're appropriate.
Yeah.
Actually states that, hi, we're really not going to follow word for word the comics. Mm-hmm. And they said there will be like a name change of some sort, but they're not planning on following everything to the letter, which they kind of can't because none of these stories have really been told.
Actually, as of this episode, she's half orphaned. So, I mean, we just need to kill one more parent, and then she can get adopted by the. I just completely blanked on her real name. Pamela Isley, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, by the Isley family. I would have. That's my biggest fear.
Geek card.
That's my biggest fear with this podcast is I'm going to say something so boneheaded about the Batman mythology and get called out on it so bad, it's just going to be embarrassing.
It's going to be embarrassing.
It's going to be embarrassing.
But what I was going to say is, I could see her mom taking care of that other half of the situation because she didn't seem all together.
No, she didn't seem very happy at all.
She didn't seem all together.
The actor who played Mr. Pepper, I almost want to say he was on, like, Boy Meets World or something, like.
I have to look him up because I thought he was on Parent.
Yeah, go ahead and look him up, and I will. I'll go ahead and move on to the next topic. Let me know when you find it.
Okay.
Catgirl. I really enjoyed. She was all over the place in this episode. Like any time there was something above someone, she was on it.
She was on it.
I really did enjoy her. Although, like she didn't even get a spoken line. I don't think. But
no.
Considering next week's episode is called Selena Kyle, I think that's going to be.
Yeah, I think we'll get a little bit more from her.
I really did enjoy that opening scene, though, with her, like, stealing the milk and cutting the bag and stealing the guy's wallet and everything.
SVU, that's why I know him.
It was, not to I'm in any way. Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Mr. Popper's Penguins. He was in Mr. Popper's Penguins. Awesome.
That's like his warm-up words.
Yeah, like when I'm testing to make sure that my pop filter is working, I go Mr. Popper's plus Penguins. Penguin.
None of the things that we thought he was on.
That's fair.
Lots of Law and Order in Law and Order SVU. Mercy, which only lasted one season and made me really sad. The Good Wife, if you watch that. Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Yeah.
And apparently he's in a movie.
Apparently.
But
as I was saying,
sorry.
One of the things I really dug about that whole Catgirl scene, and this is going to sound like it's tooting my own horn or something. I'm not in any way suggesting that I can hold a candle to the Gotham writers, but it really felt like a scene I would write for my Dog Boy books.
Oh, Dog Boy and Catgirl.
Because there's a kid in Dog Boy, who goes around and he's a thief. He's basically like a modern Oliver Twist, which is kind of the same thing Selena Kyle's doing here, kind of living on the streets, taking care of the cats, pickpocketing and stuff. Really liked it, and I'm just saying that's why I hooked into that dynamic so much, I think, because I've been exploring it so much in my other stuff. But yeah, really, really liked it. Now you had a couple questions about her though. You were a little.
Why is she stalking Bruce Wayne?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's because she watched his parents get killed. But it just.
Yeah, that would give you sympathy for someone.
Yeah, but would that make you stalk them? I don't feel like I would stalk someone.
Isn't Bruce Wayne supposed to be good enough that he would have noticed her?
You would think.
Give
him another year or two, maybe. Or next week.
No, but I was thinking about it actually, and one thing I can see with her like being behind everything and being around on everything is maybe she's going to end up being the witness that helps lead Gordon to the actual killer.
I was kind of thinking that.
Yeah.
Because she disappeared right after that. Like, obviously, she's not going to stick around for the cops to show up.
But
she could have followed him.
Found out who he actually was. Like, what did you? I don't know if we have this elsewhere in our notes, but we'll go ahead and talk about it. What did you think about that? Do you think they're ever actually going to reveal who it was, or do you think they're just going to kind of let it float?
They might, but it's going to float for a while.
Yeah.
For a good while.
There are a couple. Me being the good comic fan I am, I have to point out a couple of references here that potential candidates. One is a guy named Joe Chill, who famously he guy in the original comics who killed Batman's parents, and but it was just like a random killing. He was a random thief, and there's a very famous story called I think on Batman Brave and the Bold they called it Chill of the Night. I can't remember what it was in the original comics, where Bruce Wayne confronts him and he realizes. Like, he gets him away from his criminal pals and then confronts him, and he's like, you're the reason I became Batman. And the guy dies of fright because he realizes all his criminal pals will kill him because he created the Batman.
Yeah, he created it.
But so Joe Chill's one, and then and this is kind of like very loose, but it's just because he said it exactly this way. When young Bruce says that the guy had a black mask on in the Batman universe, kind of like a mob boss called Black Mask. So some people were thinking it might be him.
Like that guy.
One thing I did notice about the guy's performance, though, it seemed like he had a personal connection with Thomas Wayne. Like, I kind of saw that in his eyes, that it wasn't just like he was a hired killer, or even...
No, I think he was a hired killer.
Or even he was a believer in the cause that was causing him to die. It seemed like he knew him personally, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, he could be somebody who worked for the Waynes, but also worked for Fish. Or for Falcone.
Falcone. More likely Falcone.
More likely Falcone. Yeah.
I would imagine.
So, no, I think I can believe that they have a personal connection, but he was definitely the hired hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was not a random... He had shiny shoes.
Oh, definitely.
What random guy has shiny shoes?
Do you think they're going to play that out? Like, that's going to be the first season's arc, is kind of finding the killer? Do you think they're going to wrap that out in, like, the shiny shoes?
It's all the shiny shoes.
The Shiny Shoes Show.
Well, they said
starring Batman and friends.
They said shiny shoes like 17 times. I can't help it. I think they're going to play it out a lot of the first season, I think. But I don't know if we'll necessarily see the resolution.
That's fair. Hold on, I'm giving us a potential episode title here.
Oh, the Shiny Shoe Show?
The Shiny Shoe Show.
Man, I'm good. I can't even see that far.
Okay, let's see here. You had some...
Was Jim Gordon's father dirty, or did he just turn a blind eye to Falcone?
That I was kind of curious about that myself. It kind of felt almost like maybe his dad was the guy standing up to Falcone, and then Falcone had him killed and like made it seem like there was some sort of impropriety going on posthumously.
Mm-hmm.
But on another side of it, I thought if he was actually corrupt, it might be the corrupt DA that would help Gordon motivate Harvey Dent to become the hero Gotham needs, but not the one it has right now, or whatever that line was from Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Because I know they said that Harvey Dent will be showing up in this show, so eventually.
Can you tell me a little about who that is?
Two-Face?
Okay.
He was in Dark Knight.
I know.
He was.
Well, wasn't he like created in Dark Knight?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's literally all I remember. I don't remember how he got there.
And he was played by Tommy Lee Jones in Batman Forever.
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, but basically, I'll just fill you in because it's been a few years since you saw Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Basically, he's the DA. Him, Gordon, and Batman are all working together to bring down Falcone, like in Batman's first year out. And Falcone ends up, because Harvey's the most vulnerable one, ends up throwing acid in his face, and he has a psychotic break and becomes Two-Face.
Interesting.
But he's sort of, if Batman's the Dark Knight of Gotham City, then Harvey Dent is the White Knight. It's kind of how they've played it. And the Long Halloween, which that whole arc in the movie was based on, is also a really good story towards that. And for anyone out there,
anyone else who needs help like me, there you go.
Which is good. We're teaching. It's a teaching moment.
It's a teaching moment. Yes.
No, but it will be interesting to see how that plays out too. And I'm sure Falcone probably has some information he could use to leverage Gordon too, because it seems like this show is all going to be all about leverage and who has leverage on who else and everything like that. You know?
I'm looking forward to more Falcone.
Oh, definitely.
I thoroughly enjoyed him.
He was very... Oh, also, I would just like to point out, in Boca al Lupo is what he said. I probably mispronounced it.
Probably.
But it's Italian for mouth of the wolf. Kind of a way to say break a leg. But also kind of appropriate considering, he's now in the mouth of the wolf.
Yeah, pretty much.
The wolf being Gotham. Okay, Penguin. What did you think of Mr. Oswald Cobblepot?
He was everything I expected him to be.
Oh, yeah.
It was perfect.
Especially, and we've talked about it before. I'll go ahead and put this up front. The scene with the fisherman and then the sandwich at the end. Like, You
didn't have to kill him.
That was the first time I got the vibe of, like, Danny DeVito from Batman Returns as the Penguin.
Yes.
Just like
yes.
Eating the
I was
sandwich.
like, how long was he underwater? I mean, he couldn't have gone that far.
And as we all know, the Penguin eventually eats fish just like that. So... Just kind of like gobbles off and everything like that.
Oh, see, now he's running around.
Wonder if he's gonna get like the clawed hand too. That'd be fun. I did see some people saying with that guy at the end though that he killed him for the sandwich. No, I think he killed him because there was going to be a witness there of him, and he doesn't want anyone to know he's alive.
Well, he kind of can't. It's not to his benefit either.
Yeah, it would put his life in danger, and also all this manipulation he's doing would be for naught if people knew he was alive. And also, I almost want to say those are the clothes he's wearing in that Did anyone ever tell you walk like a penguin scene from the trailers? It's cool.
I thought he was wearing
Here, I'll yawn too so you don't feel alone.
No, I'm good. Thanks for the accompanying yawn, sir.
You're welcome. That made a nice little wave there on the
yeah, it does look kind of cool. I thought he was wearing the suit.
Was he?
Yeah. Also,
I
it
thought
was
he
nice
had, like,
to know that's
purple
why
on
they
or
called
something.
him that's why they called him Penguin.
Oh, because of the suit?
Because of the suit.
But
well,
now
no, that's why in the beginning, because I was like, it makes sense when he's walking like that, and that he had obviously been injured in the show. No, they were calling him Penguin. She's like, my little penguin, and I'm trying not to get mad at her because you can't get mad at Fish Mooney. Was because of the suit, because Butch Gilzane, I'm referring to my notes over here because I was like, Mr. Gilzine, called it and said, because of your nice suit.
Mm-hmm.
After they were calling him Penguin. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
side note. Things I've learned today.
From here on out, it'll be because of that waddle he has from Fish breaking his legs or whatever,
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see here. I definitely, like, in all the... And then with, like, the... what was his name again? Gilzine, giving him the opportunity to get a little violent and everything, and him really, really enjoying it. He's like, he feels very repressed, and that he's gonna have some sort of like crazy psychotic contempt for her.
She's not making use of his skills.
Mm-hmm.
She's making him hold umbrellas.
Well, I think
and rubber feet.
I think he's really angling to be the head guy in Gotham, which, I mean, fans of the comics know eventually he gets there. He's one of the big, movers of supplies and everything for the mob in Gotham. But I think what he's planning on doing is he's going to step back now. He's going to nurture that relationship with Montoya and Allen, the two good cops on the force, until he finds leverage against them. And then when Fish moves in to take out Falcone, she'll take out Falcone. Penguin will swoop in, take out her, and then he'll be in Falcone's position with the only, or two of the three good cops on the Gotham police force under his thumb.
Are they the good cops?
I think they are. I think they're presented as antagonists a bit because they're against Gordon's team, kind of, because Bullock doesn't like them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they are good cops.
Okay, see, I thought, and this is a completely uneducated statement, but I thought I read somewhere that they both turn into villains. In some sort of...
No, they don't really turn into superheroes in the comic. You're thinking of Jim Corrigan, who is a character who will... I don't know if he was in the pilot.
I understand.
But he's another character who will be introduced. He's a detective. In the original, like, old DC comics, Jim Corrigan eventually becomes the Spectre.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the new comics, Crispus Allen eventually becomes the Spectre. And Renee becomes the Question, who's a sort of an objectivist. I had trouble with this word last too.
That is the word you had trouble with.
I know, right? And then I just yelled Ayn Rand. Okay,
that's right.
Yeah, but I think they are good cops on the force. But although there were a couple, like Harvey mentioned that Renee was a pillhead, and a couple other little indications like that. Obviously, and we'll get to the stuff with Barbara, I guess, with Renee in a minute here. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But you had a point here?
Yep, we're just literally going to get to it right now. I cannot wait to see how the Montoya and Barbara stuff plays out.
Oh yeah, of all the stuff from the Legend Reborn special we watched, like, I was expecting there to be some sort of, like, thing with them. I was not expecting... I mean,
You weren't expecting it to be a relationship?
Not necessarily, no. Like, I thought that was a possibility. That wasn't my first choice.
And that was my first instinct from that Legends Reborn.
But it didn't necessarily come out and state that it was a previous relationship.
Yeah,
but you don't just volunteer.
Pretty obvious.
Yeah, you don't just volunteer, I'm engaged, unless it's going to be an issue somewhere throughout the course of the conversation, right?
Right. Well, it's also the book she had with, like, I Know You.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely. I really, really dug Barbara, though. I also liked how her apartment is set up very much like Oracle, who Barbara Gordon...
Younger Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, young Barbara Gordon, Batgirl. When she gets shot by the Joker, sort of like Batman's information officer, and she lives in an apartment just like that with the big open windows.
Yeah, it's probably that apartment.
Very well could be. Very well could be.
It seems to be a family thing.
Although to keep a hold of an apartment for 18 plus years.
Rent control, baby. Rent control.
Actually, something else with Barbara I thought was interesting was that it said that she ran an art gallery. That's a really nice apartment for someone who runs an art gallery, especially in basically New York City. She's a socialite.
No, she's a socialite. Her dad's big man in the city.
I forgot about her dad.
She runs, and it depends on the art gallery.
Disregard everything I've said.
I'm not trying to prove you wrong. I'm just saying.
Thank you. Thank you for proving me wrong.
That they straight up said that her dad, that's probably they were probably going to some sort of big social ID event, and he's like, I'm tired, I don't want to go. No, I really like Barbara though.
Yeah, I do too. I don't trust her for some reason though. I feel like something's gonna go down there, and I mean I know in the comics, their relationships end. And it's not uh, with great circumstances or anything, but I feel like there might be something more there. I could be completely wrong. I could just be looking for things that aren't there too. I'll freely admit that.
You might be looking for that because I really don't see much wrong. I really like her.
Yeah, and you to wrap up here, you found the cinematography a bit challenging, I think, right?
Okay. So first of all, the show didn't completely look the way I was expecting. There were a few elements that I'm gonna need y'all to leave out from now on. The weird running shot where we zoomed in on Gordon's face.
Oh yeah, where it was like a third-person shooter except the camera was flipped around kind of thing.
Yeah, we don't need the selfie running shot.
That reminded me a little bit of a couple of shots they used in Breaking Bad.
Things I'm not familiar with.
Worked really well there. I didn't think worked as well here. Some people were saying it might have been like an indication that maybe because they kept mentioning he had PTSD. Okay, so maybe that was like the PTSD effect kind of thing.
Okay, if we're gonna use it as a PTSD, let's make that a little clearer. But it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, because after hearing that and going back and watching it, like I looked in while the camera angles and everything, he doesn't look particularly distressed. More so than just chasing after Mr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper.
Not a doctor. Another one, the weird interrogation room scene thing with the swinging light.
Yeah, that was it felt a little out of place.
It felt very out of place.
But I also, and one of the big things I noticed about the episode was that the first 15 minutes almost felt like their work entirely, and then it kind of came out into a different voice. And I really think that scene was like kind of like the dividing line. Yeah, like that scene with the swinging lights and the interrogation and stuff, which I mean, in interesting enough way to do an interrogation scene, which have been done to death. But
let's just not see it again.
Yeah, at the same time, it felt a little out of place. I can definitely agree with you that. Okay.
And last but not least, enough with the strutting and posing women.
Too much strutting and posing for your liking?
Too much.
You need them to tighten up the blocking a little bit. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
That's fair.
I don't need to watch you walk all the way across the apartment in the tight black dress and then sort of pose. I don't need that. Fish, I kind of expect to pose, but even that was getting a little excessive.
Yeah, and I mean, that's definitely. And I think a lot of the things that people, us or other people, might have found a little challenging about this or had complaints about and stuff, I think will soften and kind of become better as the series goes on, because when you're in a movie, and I mean obviously I've never been in a movie before, but it seems like from that when you're in a movie, you get a decent amount of time generally to prepare for the character to kind of out before you ever step foot on set, or at least you're given indication this is exactly how it needs to be because we've been in pre-production for this on a year. with a serialized storytelling, it's really the pilot. At the end of the day, it's the audition for the network. It's the package's audition for the network. So even though people are bringing their A game because they want the series to be picked up, it's still effectively an audition. They don't know where their character is going because that isn't written yet. And they're just trying to get enough money to write it and make it. So versus like having a prepackaged character that they bring to set, I think they really kind of like discover it and build up on it as they go. So I'm very excited to see how that all shakes down, how these characters, get realer and realer as we go on.
And stop strutting and posing.
And stop strutting and posing. Okay.
Stop strutting and posing.
Let's see here.
It just feels so anti-feminist. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
I'm gonna have to go there a little bit, just because they're full of women, 2 of which are represented very strongly, and well, 3 are represented pretty strongly, but the other ones are just sort of represented very slinky. So.
Well, I mean, they at least there's a variety, I guess.
This is very true.
I mean, there so I guess there should be all kinds of.
So I guess there needs to be at least one slinky one in the bunch.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, let's see here. To wrap up the discussion, I usually do an arbitrary scale. Okay, you were ready for it.
Yeah, I'm ready for the arbitrary scale.
Okay, out of 3 in the arbitrary scale. Okay, I'll go
3
bigger.
is really small.
Small. Out of 75 bloody sandwiches, how many bloody sandwiches would you give this episode of Gotham?
That's wrong.
And I said 75.
I know. You did. I'm gonna go with 64 and a bloody crust.
Why? Especially the crust.
It was really good. The crust. No, I really liked the episode. I love the potential. I will never give anything a quote-unquote 10, just because you can always improve, but you can always go down.
In this example, 75.
Yes, example 75. So 74 and a bloody crust. How about you?
I'm going to give it a 67. It was really good. It was actually better than I was expecting. But I think 3 or 4 more episodes, they're really going to find their voice, and it's going to get really, really like mind-blowingly. I found religion, and its name is Gotham. Good. so I'm very excited.
Somebody bring the holy water.
Holy water, but not too moiky.
But I'm too moiky.
Okay, well, we're going to move into some news here in a minute, but before that, we'd like to thank Audible for sponsoring this week's episode of Not Greetings from Storybrooke.
Nope, didn't update that. I was just about to say from Greetings from Storybrooke.
Legends of Gotham.
Bah, bah, bah.
Oh, actually, I won't have the right promo code this week either. That's fine.
No, I thought it was Gotham. No.
Is it just Gotham?
I don't know. Let's use
we'll use this other one. Okay, if you don't know Audible, you can go there. They have tons of audiobooks. Any author you can think of. If you like Stephen King, if you like Ayn Rand, if you like books with Fabio on the cover, they're gonna have audiobooks here for you. And the great thing is you can use them anytime you're out and about doing whatever.
Yes.
When you're at the market, when you're running on the treadmill, when you're chasing after Dr. Pepper, whatever. You can listen to your audiobook, get things done, get your reading done. Really good stuff. And Audible's offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial for listeners of
Legends of Gotham, as well as Greetings from Storybrooke.
As well as Greetings from Storybrooke. Both codes work. They both send money to the right place. But we always like to give some recommendations for people.
Right.
So, Anne-Marie, what Batman-themed audiobook recommendation do you have for people this week?
Okay, this actually, in a sense, could slightly be related to another villain that's not in this episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Am I correct in what I'm saying without saying it?
Yes, kind of.
Well, it's the same realm.
Yeah.
So I recommended this on the other podcast, and I didn't have a chance to find another good one that was really Batman related. So this week I'm recommending Frozen, the junior novelization, which sort of goes, Frozen, Mr. Freeze, right? That's a Batman thing. I'm new to this, people. I'm new to this. Basically, you all know Frozen, but this is just a fun little, audiobook to share with your family.
Oh, definitely. It would be good for like a car trip or something.
It would be good for a car trip. It's sometimes you don't want to, throw them the iPad or pop in a DVD. So it's nice to, listen to a book.
And as for me, my recommendation this week, and it's my recommendation this week just because it got approved and put up on Audible yesterday, so I wanted to point out to people that it was available. My book, Dog Boy Demon Stare, which I happen to have right here because I reference it when I write.
Yes.
But is finally available on Audible after a couple months here.
Yay!
And basically, Dog Boy, a.k.a. Bronson Black, is Cultus City's 14-year-old superhero, and when the Guild of Thieves resurfaces, Dog Boy and his girlfriend Cindy McNeil follow a trail of abducted children to an abandoned theme park. It's and it just gets crazy from there. But actually, I mean, a lot of good stuff for people who like Batman. There's evil clowns, amusement parks.
Oh, there is.
These are all motifs that are very common in Batman.
Yes,
and I would actually say the first Dog Boy book was more directly influenced by Batman, but there's a Batman influence there and everything.
Just pick up the whole series while you're at it.
Well, why not? Why not? It's all on Audible.
I'm just saying.
And also,
it's all on Audible.
And also, one of the listeners of our other podcast wrote in, and we figured we'd go ahead and put it in here too, just to acknowledge. Rain wanted us to acknowledge that Windows Phone has Audible too. So
because we do normally say that you can download this on absolutely anything, including your
Creative
Sky
Zen
phone,
Player,
Creative Zen Player, your laptop, your Apple phone, your Apple iPad, your Apple I don't know, probably the iWatch thing that's coming out.
Are there any other recommended for Audible that you might want to shout out real quick?
I don't know why.
I was just curious. Really?
I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Okay, that gave me enough time to look up the right promo code.
There we go.
Now, 30-day trial, no obligation. And download your free audiobook. Go to audibletrial.com/Gotham.
Again, I was right. It is /Gotham.
It is audibletrial.com/Gotham for your free audiobook.
I'll just pat myself on the back.
And we want to thank Audible again for sponsoring this week's episode of Legends from Gotham.
Legends of Gotham.
No. Which was very good in context.
Yes.
Okay, and now on to the news. News. Okay, first up, we always like to do ratings, and the ratings are, according to comingsoon.net, the ratings are in for Fox's Batman List Gotham series premiere, and it looks like the Cape Crusader wasn't needed after all. According to the Futon Critic, the
Futon Critic?
I guess it's a website. The inaugural hour-long episode took in nearly 8 million viewers and a 3.2 rating among adults 18 to 49. That turnout was no doubt aided by stellar reviews with a 95% critical consensus on Rotten Tomatoes and an 88% audience approval.
Interesting.
People liked it.
People watched it.
People watched it. Hopefully people are going to watch it again next week.
Yes.
But no, that seems like I don't know Monday night ratings. We always pay attention to the Sunday night ones because Once Upon a Time.
Right.
But I think Once Upon a Time usually gets around to 3.2.
Something like that. But that always, that always confuses me because it changes. Like a 3.2 could be 8 million people, or it could be like 4 million people. Like
it's like anything. A sliding.
I'm actually on another site that we usually use, which is why I was like, that's not the one we normally
I think Woo, one of our listeners, Woo, Kim, sent us this link. So
well, this one shows it in comparison to the other stuff from the hour at TV by the numbers, and it was fourth for the hour, but it was up actually against probably the worst things it could be against. It was against Big Bang Theory, which completely mutilated the hour, which it's new night. So that kind of stinks because our old podcast was up against Big Bang Theory and never had a shot.
Yeah.
It was against The Voice, which I think we also have a letter which addresses that.
I think I cut that.
Oh, you cut that one?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was against The Voice, and this person was not so happy that it was against The Voice. DVR, one of the people. And then it was also against Dancing with the Stars.
Oh yeah, so all the big things.
It was against two, reality shows which are somehow still very popular.
Yeah.
But those each brought in over 12 million viewers.
So I mean, for Gotham to do that well on that kind of night,
I think pretty much everyone in America was watching TV at 8 o'clock last night.
Monday nights, big TV night.
And it dies at 9 o'clock.
But, for some reason, if you didn't happen to watch the pilot episode of Gotham, which, if so, why are you listening to this podcast? Because we're talking about it.
We spoiled the entire thing for you.
But I just wanted to point out that Fox has gone ahead and put up the pilot for free on their site. So if you have friends who haven't seen it, if you want to see it again and didn't DVR it or whatever, you can watch it for free on Fox's site. And the link for that will be in the show notes at legendsofgotham.com.
True that.
Now, we had a article from Screen Rant here, too, with some Gotham Easter eggs, 14 Easter eggs you may have missed. Now, did any of the ones in here jump out at you?
Well, I already brought it up. It was the Harlequin dancers.
Yeah.
That was sort of my biggest, I don't know if I'd call these really Easter eggs, but these are just like, they sort of were more like things we wanted to point out.
Yeah. I will say that Richard kind character, the mayor, which got like just a little cameo. It does say here that Mayor Aubrey James, which is his character, was created for the comic Legends of the Dark Knight, which is was part of the inspiration for the podcast, or the name of the podcast.
Was it?
Yeah, because the Legends thing, because Legends is often associated with Batman and everything. So.
See, and I thought I just came up with it.
What do you know?
What do you know? I was influenced by something. Other things.
Yeah, and the Harley Quinn dancers. I think that was one of the main ones I wanted to point out. Yeah, you can go ahead. Oh, yeah, and the Fourth and Grundy.
Yes, the Fourth and Grundy was good.
Yeah, and that's basically, most people are interpreting it as a reference to Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday. He's a villain, Batman and Superman mainly villain, DC Comics. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, and the comedian, they talk about the Killing Joke. Yeah, it's a good article. Check it out.
Good times.
Good times. Okay, and next we'll go ahead and we'll just talk a little bit about the trailer for Selina Kyle, next week's episode.
I haven't seen this.
Bruce playing with candles. He's testing himself.
I'm testing Mario.
Yeah, I think this might be where we get the Arkham line from the fan trailer too. Oh yeah, and it definitely looks like Bullock's going to be using pushing the Penguin in as kind of leverage.
See, he's wearing the suit.
You're right, he definitely is.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that 6 more times. Yeah, not right now, of course.
Yeah, it looked almost like, was that supposed to be Fish's Club? Did they change the set for that? It doesn't seem like they would, but it seemed like it was in a different room or something.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it has more than one room. No.
I think it's just shot a little differently.
I think the lights are just on.
Yeah.
Like before it was really just like the table lights.
Yeah, and sorry we're not playing it on the screen video, folks, but we don't want YouTube to take it down or whatever.
They'll take us down, yeah.
Yeah, no problem, because we don't own that.
No.
Sadly.
No, we don't own that.
Sadly. And let's see, yeah, I guess that's about it for the news. Let's see here. Okay, we'll wrap up with some listener feedback. We got a bunch this week.
We did. I was shocked by how much we got.
Yeah. Now, next week after you watch episode 2, Selina Kyle, we want you to run to your computer and let us know what you think.
Telling them to run. They're going to look like the Penguin.
They need to. Alternatively, hop on a flying umbrella and fly to your computer and email us at legendsofgotham@gmail.com. Tweet us at legendsofgotham. Facebook is facebook.com/legendsofgotham. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352.
Gotham.
Again, that's 424-274-2352.
Legends of Gotham.
We do recommend you keep these about a minute long, or we might not be able to play them. Minute and a half's pushing it. So just keep that in mind. I like
short and sweet. So you get me a voicemail, I will make sure that puppy's on there.
But we do always like to play these because it gives us a break from talking. So here we go. The first one up is from Caitlin. Take it away, Caitlin.
Hey guys, it's Caitlin. I was really pumped up for the premiere of Gotham last night, but to be honest, the pilot didn't really live up to my expectations. It wasn't so bad that I'm not still fangasming over how epic this show is going to be, but as far as pilots go, it wasn't the best. For some reason, maybe it was because I'm already so familiar with the source material, the pilot that really gets my heart racing, like the one.
Yeah, it was very kind of introductory, for sure.
Well, you have people like me that need it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that was kind of the intention of the podcast.
It was a pilot.
Bit too.
Yeah.
Or Hannibal pilot did. I'm not saying it was bad. Far from it. It could have been the pacing. Some spots it seemed like they were rushing, and other ones it just felt very drawn out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one thing, and I was talking to a couple people on Twitter about this yesterday too, was that first 15 minutes seemed, and I'm a video editor by trade, so in my professional opinion, I thought the first part was just cut a little too tight, like it was trimmed a little too tightly, and it just hurt the feel of it a little bit.
I don't know. I do know, however, that I'm excited for the next episode. I'm already anticipating the return of the Penguin and to see how the other characters will react to his whole return. Because I'm Jim didn't shoot him, and I don't know. It's just going to be really great. Hopefully, I was really pleased with the performance of Robin Lord Taylor and Corey Michael Smith because Edward Nygma and Oswald Cobblepot are two of my 5 favorite Batman characters, Jonathan Crane, Jervis Tetch, and Alfred Pennyworth being the other 3. That being said, I'm not sure what to think about this version of Alfred. I mean, the third time we see him, he literally curses at Bruce, and I was like, WTF.
And I like that.
And we have discussed our theories on that, too.
I'm going to withhold my judgment for the time being because Alfred is amazing, and I can't really diss one of my favorite characters so quickly. Well, that's it, other than to say that Fish Mooney is really amazing, and I was very disappointed to find out that you had to be 21 or older to enter that Fox sweepstakes to win a lunch for the Penguin. That made me really sad this morning. But, you know, Gotham was awesome, and I can't wait for the rest of the season. All right.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Caitlin.
you.
And yeah, she was the one who left us a voicemail a couple weeks ago, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. If not, Caitlin, glad to have you on board. Mm-hmm. If so, Caitlin, glad to have you back. And next up we have, and this is one of the listeners from our other podcast, Corbin. Take it away, Corbin.
Corbin.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, this is Corbin, a longtime fan, all-time listener, occasional writer, and lover of your tweet casting was perfect. The Penguin, he was just amazing. I love how they established the quote-unquote waddle for the rest of the series. I thought that it was pretty dark for an 8 p.m. show. However, I think it was done really well. The writing was great. All the villains fit in perfectly. I was a fan of the Riddler, even though we saw a little bit of him, and Carmine Falcone. So I like that. Harvey Bullock was hilarious. I think Donald Logue, the casting was amazing. So, but overall, I just really like the premiere. I'm excited to see where the series goes. And the thing I'm a little worried about is how they're going to have, because I know they want to plan it for multiple seasons, how they're going to have David Mazouz, pronounce his last name,
yes.
And by the end of the series. But overall, the casting was great. Alfred's cool. So overall, I'm really excited. I can't wait to hear what you guys think of the podcast, the show. All right, bye.
Thank you very much, Corbin. And I like how we were talking back to him, like he was here.
Like he had some idea of what we were saying. Yeah.
Okay, first up here, as far as letters that people wrote in and whatnot, is from Steve over on Twitter. He said, really enjoyed it, even with all the characters they tried to get involved. Thought they did a great job at showing us the world we're going to be dealing with, which is not a place I would like to call home. Gordon has his work cut out for him, that's for sure. Okay, and you want to take Elizabeth?
Yes, I'll take this nice one. This one's from Elizabeth324_B21 on Twitter. That's quite the name there. Okay, last night was epic. Yes, it was heavily loaded with superheroes and villains, but can you blame them? If you want to bring people in, use all the arsenal. The sets are beautiful, the colors are perfect, and the camera work was great. It was a faithful reintroduction to characters most weren't existed before last night. So glad that they didn't deviate too far from the Gotham Central books. That would have been a deal breaker for me. I was beyond thrilled with the ethnic diversity and wish this was the norm on TV. Perhaps other shows will now follow suit. I completely agree on that. Lastly, I was thrilled with the selection of the cast. Cameron as Selena was a perfect fit aesthetically. I'm looking forward to seeing her more as the series goes on.
Cameron has great eyes. She has cat eyes.
Cat eyes. I don't know if that helped at all. Donald as Bullock is a stroke of genius. He really fits the part. In bringing in an unknown Victoria for an unknown to most Montoya couldn't have been better. She's been engaging and inquisitive with comic book fans on Twitter, and even more positive, she took the advice to read the GC series.
Yeah, Gotham Central. And yeah, Victoria's been
she's
super
awesome.
great.
And she's really supportive, like everybody. Like, I see her more than anyone else.
She actually, I was just reading Twitter while you were reading the letter, and she favorited one of the tweets from my personal account talking about the show last night.
Ooh. She's following your personal account?
This character named Bill Meeks wrote a little review about Gotham here. He said, Gotham was awesome front to back. Great pacing, a live-action prequel to Batman the Animated Series. Every scene has the scent of the future. Love it. Thank you, Bill Meeks. And thank you, Elizabeth, for writing in.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth.
Let's thank that person who actually wrote in.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, Victoria's great. I told her she should read 52 for Montoya, too. So hopefully she does. Okay, next up is from Nick. Nick says, so after watching the season premiere, how good was the character of Harvey Bullock? I mean, you have the standard good cop versus everyone mentality that every cop drama has, but man, was Harvey on point. That character made the show for me. The Bruce Wayne stuff was okay, and the Selena Kyle parts making her swift of feet and blending in with the background like a cat were good, but they didn't interest me as much as I'd hoped they would. Cobblepot being a weakling then breaking was good. I like the look of Nigma, and the kid that plays Ivy is pretty creepy. I'm very excited about the show and cannot wait for the second episode. Well, can't wait to hear the podcast. Nick. Thanks, Nick. And
Thank you, Nick.
Agreed on all points.
Yay. Okay, next is from Wynn, a longtime fan of our other show, and glad to have her over here at Gotham. Hi, Bill and AM. Once I saw Bruno Heller's name pop up in the opening credits, I was reassured I would like Gotham, and one of my all-time favorite shows, HBO's Rome. Mm-hmm. I was intrigued by almost everything we were shown in this first episode. I didn't know anything about the Bullock character going in. He reminded me of Gene Hunt, although not nearly as awesome, from the British Life on Mars, another series I really enjoyed.
I've heard very good things about that one. I need to check it out one day.
And his contrast to Gordon also mirrored Hunt's cop relationship to his underlying Sam in many ways. The dialogue scripting was tight and most believable, although when Bullock said he was worried they could lose their jobs for shooting Pepper once his innocence became widely known, I had to scratch my head. That takedown was a textbook example of a justifiable police shooting in any town, especially Gotham.
Oh yeah,
on that. I was
like,
who's going to blame him?
Struck me as that.
The knife at him, but I think it was more the framing that he was involved with.
They needed some reason for Harvey to be resistant to the idea.
Yeah, basically. So. Not sure how I feel about Bruce Wayne Alfred dynamic yet. Dysfunctional much? Alfred seems to waver between bully and mentor, while Bruce can't decide whether to treat him as a family member or the help. I think it always just depends on the situation.
Yeah.
I kind of really liked where he was like, Alfred! And I was like, whoa, hey, there you go.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, I kind of think that was more of a put-on for Gordon than anything. That's my interpretation. I would love to know what you think.
Yes, please.
I'll give you that information in a moment if you want to let me know. But we'll wrap up with a tweet from Jay Elise I thought was really funny. They said, Legends of Gotham, they have their differences, but I'm already so into the growing bond bromance between Jim and Harvey. Harvey really had his back. I seriously want the friendship name Bolden to become a thing. Or Jarvie.
I like Jarvie.
Jarvie's
I can
much
say
better.
Jarvie a lot better.
Bolden's... What do you guys think? If you want to let us know. Jarvie's probably the one to use. Yeah. Email's legendsofgotham@gmail.com. Twitter's @legendsofgotham. Facebook is facebook.com/legendsofgotham. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. Well, Anne-Marie, we did it.
We made it. We finally had a real episode.
I know.
Yay!
No, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. A little long, about an hour and 10 minutes, but that's okay.
Oops, sorry, y'all.
No, I mean,
y'all get me out of the South.
I guess if people are still listening, we should give them a little idea what to expect. First of all, if you watch just live or anything, we usually record this on.
It will be recorded on Wednesdays.
On Wednesday nights, but this week was Tuesday because first episode and everything. We didn't have the other podcast to do last night. But we'll generally record Wednesday nights sometime between 8 and 9 EST. And just keep an eye out on our social media stuff for that. And the episodes usually run anywhere from 50 minutes to about an hour and 10 is about the max. And we're hitting there now. So, Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on the Twitters @AMDeSimone. I also have a kind of foodie DIY blog, crunchycrafty.com.
And as for me, you can follow me on Twitter @BillMeeks. My Google Plus account, which you can get updates about when we go live with the show, is google.com/plusBillMeeks. And you can follow the things I write at dogboyadventures.com. And I'll also say for both of us, you can check out our other Once Upon a Time podcast, which is coming back next Monday night from the summer break.
So excited.
At greetingsfromstorybrooke.com. Well, I guess that's it. I think
we still don't know how we're ending these.
Join us next time for more Legends of Gotham. Close. Very
Almost.
close.
We'll work on it next
Very
time.
close. You know what? Usually I'm ready to hit stop